Hello, David here. This is the Red Podcast, the podcast for influencers. No intro on this episode. It's a little bit different. If you're a first-time listener, you haven't heard what I do on Red Podcast normally, go back and listen to one of the episodes that has a number next to it. Redpodcast.com has dozens of those. This episode is about me helping you. Maybe. You know, the last few weeks in the United States, it's been kind of a crazy time. Bad news, a lot of distrust, conspiracy theories, fear of the unknown seems to be getting the best of us. And I want to tell you a story of something that I found very touching. I've mentioned it here on past episodes that I live in an urban neighborhood. And this is a neighborhood with a lot of different types of people. I would say that my street, if you look at the ethnic makeup of it, probably 60% white, 40% black. I've lived in this neighborhood for almost 10 years. And the last place that I lived, before my current house, had a neighbor who was transgendered. I had a neighbor who was Muslim. And behind me, a neighbor who was black. It's kind of a nice microcosm of what I think America is. Because America, to me, it's not just one thing. It's not the old white Christian men. Although you wouldn't know that from looking at the mass media sometimes. So my neighborhood is diverse, and because of the election results, a lot of people who aren't the old white Christian men, a lot of these guys are really scared right now. Something interesting happened about 3 weeks ago. A Christian woman in the community, her name is April Benson Cersei. She took her son and she went to the Islamic Center. There's a sidewalk to the north side. There's a sidewalk to the east side of it. It sits on a corner. She had brought sidewalk chalk with her, and she started drawing. And as people would come by, she encouraged them to draw on the sidewalk with her. By the time it was done, she had had about 30 people, and they designed this huge chalk mural. This is how the local Nashville paper, the Tennessean, described it. It says, the end result was a patchwork of warm sentiments written in big block letters and accented by colorful hearts, flowers, sunbursts, and more. We see you and we want you here, one read. We love you, another said. The secretary of the Islamic Center's board, she said, it really made my whole day. It really makes you understand and remember how good our community is down to its core. Like I said, this is in my neighborhood. I walked by it just a couple of days later, and there was a great sign that was on the door. It said, we love you, signed your fellow Americans. And people from the community had come together and signed messages of hope on a huge board they put on this Islamic Center's door. So that got me thinking. I'm in this diverse neighborhood. We've got all sorts of people that make it work. We've got churches. We've got the mosque. We've got Jewish people. We've got young students. We've got older people that have been here for years. And they all come together and they get to know each other. And because of this, we've got different people coming together. We're having these discussions. And you can see that people are more the same than they are different. Not everybody has that. A lot of people, they feel alone, even in a community full of people. I've talked about this before. We live in silos. If you look around at your community, more or less, it's the exact same type of people that you are. We go to churches with the same people. We go to schools with the same people. We shop in stores with people that are just like us. So it's easy to feel alone even if you're around people. Now, I think people are good. I think at our core, people are good. And that's something that I want to help out a little bit. I want to help you show the goodness of people. I want to help you get connected with people that are not like you so they can understand you a little bit better. And by getting connected with them, you can understand them a little bit better too. I think that when people talk to each other and we seek to understand each other, our differences, things that we don't understand from the onset, they become a little less scary. And I feel that podcasting is a great way to do this. So if you personally, if you're trying to do this via your podcast, you're working with an organization that does this, They're trying to do it via their podcast. Maybe you know of an organization that's trying to do this via its podcast. I'd like to help you out. There's no charge for this, no cost. This is my commitment to do what I think that it is that makes this country great. We're not making it great again. We're already doing it, and I want to help you do it bigger. So if you're looking to spread your message via your podcast, you're looking to tighten up your hosting, tighten up the branding, the imaging, get more listeners for it, I can help you. Now, what is this going to look like? I don't know. It depends on what you need. But if you're doing something to help build community via a podcast, I want you to reach out to me. Here's how to do it. I've set up a form that I need you to fill out. It's at redpodcast.com/non, N-O-N. redpodcast.com/non. Stands for nonprofit. Because I want to be clear about this. I'm not talking your weight loss formula, get rich quick scheme, pills, potions, lotions. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about building community within your neighborhood. I'm talking about bringing diverse opinions together so we, as Americans, can understand each other a little bit better. If you're not sure whether you qualify, redpodcast.com/non has a link to the form. Just fill it out. I'll be the judge of that. But that's what I'm looking for. Nonprofits, neighborhood and community organizations, people that are looking to take their little slice of America and open up communication and make people's lives better. Again, it's free of charge. redpodcast.com/non, N-O-N, redpodcast.com/non has a link to the form that I need you to fill out. Do it. Let me help you spread your message. Thank you so much for listening to this, for supporting Red Podcast. If you're not subscribed, next episode, I'm back to business, back to helping you gain influence, increase authority, and build your audience. To make sure you never miss an episode, go to redpodcast.com, subscribe. Doesn't matter if you use an iPhone, an Android, you listen via the web, one click is all it takes to subscribe, and make sure you never miss an episode. Thanks again for listening to Red Podcast. I'll see you on the next episode.